Hey everyone, JB here, the Wolf of Wall Street in the Wolf's Den. I have an awesome episode today. Young YouTube star, actually social media star. He's a comedian and he's on the way up right now. Fast, likable guy. He's got a lot of insight into like what's going on in the world here, the world of social media, I should say. And also, we get into some really interesting topics about some of the insanity that's going on with cancel culture, with influencers having power right now to have people do things like make investments in certain things and the dangers of that, the good part of that. So we get into some really interesting stuff. And also he's a funny guy and he starts telling some jokes in the middle. So you're going to really love this interview here. All right. So we're going to first hear from our sponsors real quick. We'll be right back with Trevor Wallace. All right. The biggest concern for small businesses right now, HR. You know that. It's costly, time-consuming, complicated. And did I mention costly for the second time? Here's your answer. Ready? Bambi. It's an HR agency created specifically for small businesses like yours. You'll be matched to your own dedicated HR manager to customize policies to fit your business. And they'll help you manage your employees. And if you thought this service would be expensive, you're wrong. Bambi services are only $99 per month. That's it. I know you didn't start your business because you wanted to spend time on HR compliance. No one does, right? Do yourself a favor and join Bambi's growing list of small business owners who have made the best HR decision of their lives. It's easy. Go to Bambi.com/wolf right now to schedule your free HR audit. That's Bambi.com/wolf, spelled BAM to the BEE.com/wolf. All right, so Trevor.
Yes, sir.
Man, myth, legend.
Dude. Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Here's what intrigues me about you, is that you find a lot of young influencers. Would you consider yourself an influencer? How do you brand yourself?
I just say comedian. I think influencer has like a bitter taste to it. You know, you hear the word influencer and like you kind of get a little tense. You're like, ugh. People just hate influencers just because it varies. It could be
because they're mostly full of shit, right?
Oh, mostly 100%. Yeah.
So what intrigues me about you though is that you have really solid followings across all the different platforms. And that's kind of rare. You know, you usually find someone that's like has a really great YouTube presence, but they haven't figured out how to crack the code for Insta, or they'll be good on TikTok and whatever. You seem to have a really, really well-rounded. So is that by design, in the sense there's a strategy you're using, or is it that it just happened because you're just funny as shit and people just like your stuff? Well, tell me what's going on.
Definitely design, because my logic is if one of these apps gets yanked tomorrow, I still can keep moving. You know, if my biggest is TikTok somehow, I don't fucking know why or how, but if TikTok is yanked, I'm like, boom, I got Instagram, I got YouTube, I got Facebook, all these, just because. And also like, there's such a big market of people on Facebook still. Everyone my age is like, fuck Facebook. And I find it hilarious. A lot of arguing from like, you know, people that I went to high school with. I like it for the drama, but also there's a massive market there. So I'm hitting markets that the TikTok audience isn't. So when I go on tour, I can promote through Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere. That way, it's not like I'm not missing out on any audiences.
It's interesting you say that, because you have this whole like thing, just like you said, like, you know, oh, Facebook is done, right?
Yeah,
and even I'm hearing that about Insta now, like it's you know, and yet when I run ads, I will get at least half of my sales off of Facebook still.
It's
right?
a very built out platform, and what makes it good about that is everyone's like, fuck Facebook, blah blah blah, but that just means there's less competition. There's less people promoting ads on there. There's less comedians on there versus everybody wants to be cool on TikTok right now. It's a very impacted market, but it's like Facebook, there's like 4 funny people. 3 of them are just my cousins just yelling just wild, reckless stuff. So it's, I just try to do it on everywhere, which kind of was trial and error. You know, I wanted that, but I wasn't sure if it was going to happen because certain shit works on Facebook that doesn't work on TikTok, and certain shit works on Twitter or not.
Sure.
So it's just adapting and seeing, and some ideas land for all of them. Some ideas only hit for certain markets, you know.
Do you have one of those platforms that you start off, like, for example, is it about like, all right, so YouTube is my long form content.
Yeah.
So I start with everything on YouTube and then just take snippets out to the others.
Sir.
Is that your strategy?
That's exactly it. Yeah. YouTube, I think YouTube is like a library, you know, it's like, you go there if you want the full book. And then if you want like little chapters, little pieces, it's kind of like a shotgun effect. It's just dispersed everywhere, all leading back to YouTube being like, the full high quality version is here. Because when shit's on other platforms, it gets downgraded like quality wise, and it just gets ripped and all this shit. So it's like, that's where you can find the full, beautiful, high quality
the way
HD.
you wanted it to
exactly
be, right?
Yeah. Then however else it gets disperses.
Let's go back to the beginning. So you're 27 now?
28.
28, right?
Yeah.
When did you start this whole journey as being a comedian? Is that something that you're like the class clown in school, or did it start later?
Yeah, I was 17 when I first did stand up. That was the first thing that did it for me. But I was never really a class clown. I was too like introverted and like shy. Because like my biggest fear would be like if I said something out loud to the class and then nobody laughed.
Right.
Yeah. So I was never really that guy. I would like think about funny shit, but I wouldn't say it. I was like the funny guy in the group, but I wasn't the funny guy at the school. So I was like internally funny. Like if you knew me, I was funny, but if you didn't know me, you'd be like, oh, he's just some quiet kid.
Right. Got it. And so at 17, you started doing stand-up?
Yeah, 17. There was a local comedy club.
Where was that? Where are you from?
Kind of out here, Ventura.
Okay.
You know Ventura? Yeah, it's just like an hour from Los Angeles. And it's such a like Disney Channel story. My mom cut out a piece from the paper that said like comedy class workshop at a local comedy club. And then she like gave it to me. I was like, okay, Mom, anything your parents tell you to do when you're younger, you're against. So I ended up doing it,
right?
Fell in love with it, and kind of felt like, because I never played sports or anything, so when I was on stage the first time I got like a big pop of laughter, I was like, oh shit, is this what it feels like to be good at something? Because I've never caught the touchdown, I've never run like a running yard pass or prom king or any of that, so I never felt like an overwhelming accomplishment of like, oh dang, we're really doing it. So
is that like code for saying I lost my virginity when I was 21 or something like
that? 28, but yeah, yesterday. No, 17.
When did you get laid for the first time?
17.
Okay, that's not bad.
Too bad,
Me too. I'm 17 also, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think people grow up a bit more slowly. When I was a kid, like, if you wanted to look at porn, you like have to go get like a Playboy or a Penthouse magazine.
Yeah, or you just draw it with a crayon, draw some nice racks.
But it's a big deal. Like, and you get one, you hide under your bed, and like you get like a little bit of like maybe like a little bit of the pussy shot, just a little bit, right? And now it's like if you're a kid, you're like, okay, I want to see horse dick sleeping with female lesbian with one arm. Oh, there's 500 videos.
And you find that video and it's got 500,000 views, and you're like, there's 500,000 people out
just
here
like
interested in that. Yeah, that's very interesting. Let me ask you this: did you ever have? Because I noticed this with my friends. Did you ever have a friend who like lost it like way early? I had a friend that was like 13. He's like, I lost it, but I was in the forest. I was like, who are you?
Well, everyone's got a friend that like went through puberty way too early.
My
guy was David Rosengart was his name, and I remember like we were like in 6th grade, and the kid I slept over his house. He pulls like, what the fuck is that? Like like the Enchanted Forest down there, big giant like cock for a kid. I mean,
Jesus,
no, seriously, and
this is some interesting sleepovers you had, Mr. Jordan.
No, he didn't go after me or anything like that. Like, at least I'm nothing I care to admit here. But no, and it was actually the first time I ever smoked pot was with him. And because his brother was like older, and anyway, it's a separate story. But no, he was the guy, and I think he probably, I don't know if he got laid though. I think the first youngest kid was, we have someone in the family, by the way. I think Bobo was a little bit on the.
With a name like Bobo, you're fucking by 12, 100%.
Yeah. I think he did the family proud there, Bo. So like, he's gonna kill me for saying that. But anyway, many years ago,
Oh yeah.
So 17, right?
Yeah, I was 17, and I went to homecoming with a girl, and we didn't have the chemistry that we thought we were gonna have. So I ended up leaving to go home, and then on my way home, a girl who was also at homecoming was like, "Do you want to hang out?" And I was like, "Oh, whoa." This is an audible move here,
Right.
I didn't see this coming, but Hail Mary. And she wasn't a virgin, but I was. And I remember trying to play it cool.
And?
I did not. I remember asking her, I was like, how did I do? And she's like, do you always ask that? And I was like, well, that's funny because I never have. So. And
was she one that you'd like to say, I never slept with, never saw the girl? Was she hot or what? I mean,
she was cool, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had she has a child now.
Her name is?
Her name is, her address. We slept together a few times, and then, she has a kid.
I want to go back to how it all started, but I have one really important question to ask you. Because with every word that you say, every thought that you have right now, in the back of your mind, you're saying, is this going to cause me to get canceled.
Yeah.
Am I going over a line? Am I saying something that someone's going to take offense to? Now, me, I don't really give a shit, okay? Because my brand is pretty much uncancelable because of, like, obviously within limits. I mean, I don't have any, my beliefs are such that I don't say things that would probably offend people because I'm not an asshole, right? But still, even me, I'm aware that there's a line that you don't want to cross over. But how do you remain funny and on the cutting edge, and you just have to worry about who you offend all the time?
Yeah, you kind of just see what your friends do as mistakes. I've had a couple of my friends get in some hot water for that, and I go, oh, okay, it turns out, if you're talking about that, you can't say that type of stuff. So just kind of seeing. I also don't do a lot of stuff that piss people off in the first place, but it is kind of interesting because you have to like wonder, like even ideas where I'm making fun of myself. I was like, is somebody like me gonna get offended? I mean, you can get offended for anything, you know, like somebody could see that statue and be like, get offended that there's
animal rights bill. You actually do that. You're offending someone that might be offended, right?
So I think the golden trick here is you make fun of yourself first, address it, be like, I know I look like this, and then you say some shit, and then people are like, he's conscious. But within limits, you're not going to go out and just start making fun of different races because that's crazy. But a lot of times I just like kind of poke fun of myself before if I say anything else about a different like type of style. And the only really jokes I go after are just like certain how people dress or certain styles. So it's like at that point you're not really getting mad at the person, you're getting mad at what they like wear and what they do. It's not like, I don't know, if you get offended by the stuff I make, it's like I think you're just a little hungover or you're having a bad day. You're like, I've only ran into a few times where someone was like, I didn't like personally. They were like, I didn't find that funny. I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I don't.
Well, it's okay to not find something funny, but I think the issue is that it's not just that you offend someone today. It's that the bar is constantly moving, it seems. So you say something that at the time you said it was socially acceptable, and then 5 years later they'll go back and say, how could you have said that? That's to me is probably even a bigger problem, because I think most people, unless you're just out to to do shock comedy and stuff like that, I think it's pretty easy to sort of navigate the line. But what's not easy is that the line moves.
Right.
So what do you do about that?
You kind of just go, I'm a changed person. I look back and, I was just going on with what was socially acceptable back then. God, I'm talking like a media trend over here. But I feel like if you make a joke right now that everybody understands and laughs at, and then in 10 years, people are like, oh, whoa, that was too much. And you go, well, at the time, that didn't seem like a lot, and I'm sorry for my mistakes. You just, it's kind of when you take something from 10 years ago that might have been not or acceptable, and then you bring it forward now and it's not, then people are like, it's like my grandpa fought in wars and he would say stuff that's like crazy. And you're like, whoa, you can't say that. And then he's like,
right, like Clint Eastwood shit from the movie, right? Gran Torino, right?
Yeah, all that. You go, But for him, and I'm not saying it's acceptable in any way, I'm just saying like that's how he was kind of just like in the war trained, and then you're just like, okay, maybe 10 years ago, but you can't be saying that now.
Right.
So you're kind of just like, but also grandparents are just always yelling crazy shit anyway. So you're like, just give another sentence and he'll say something nice, and then the next one will be something crazy.
All right, fair enough. So let's go back now to 7. Let's go back to you started, right? So what was your first was local in Ventura?
Yeah, Ventura Harbor Comedy Club.
And how'd you do?
I did okay. Oddly enough, because there was like 6 weeks of like this like class that helped you build 5 minutes of jokes, which doesn't seem like a lot of time, but when you're up there like at that stage was terrifying. And the guy who was running it helped me write some jokes, and I had a few like quick little one-liner quick jokes, and then I did a story about getting a ticket when I was young for speeding, and then like I remember my car got taken away, and then I had to ride a skateboard everywhere, and then I got a ticket for not wearing a helmet, and then I had to go to court to fight a helmet ticket. And like my friend told me, if you bring a helmet to the court, then they'll like dismiss your ticket. But everybody around me was like, I'm here for DUIs, I'm here for Grand Theft Auto, and I'm like, I have a helmet. So yeah, it was just like a funny experience of just like what for my life, what like a crazy day in court was, but. Really wasn't.
Okay, so you did that, right? And the audience embraced it. They liked it?
They liked it, yeah.
And how many people were in the audience?
Probably like 70 or something. It was like a decent crowd, but I think it was like filled with like friends and family of other comedians. And then some of my friends and family came. I remember 2 of my friends got fake IDs so they could come to that show, because we were all 17 or 18 at the time, and it was 21 plus. So they got fakes to watch me do comedy.
All right.
And to drink.
And then where was your next stop after? So that lead to a bigger audience, or? What was the process?
Kinda. Right after that, I went to college, and then for 2 years, I was just in a fraternity and just did nothing productive. Put alcohol in every hole you could imagine, and just really got after it. And just for 2 years, I was just a degenerate. And then my junior year, I was like, okay, I should get back into this. I need to like focus. And that's when I started making videos. Was junior year too, because that's when like Vine was really big, and kind of dabble with that. And then my senior year, I was like, okay, I'm done drinking. I need to just only focus on comedy. And then did that, and then moved straight out here and just kind of hit the ground running.
I think the audience is probably wondering this, so I'm gonna have to ask you, what holes? And so
all of them.
You know, the mouth. You can pour it in your ear, I guess. You could snort it if you want, but up your ass, did you like, do an enema up your ass? I mean, like, what holes?
I should have. You know how you get like one of those giant 3-yard drinks in Las Vegas where they put the 151 in the extra little squeezer tube? I should have done that, but I'd probably be in the hospital for that. I should put all the holes asterisk because didn't butt chug anything.
Really?
No. Did you?
I don't know, but I'm willing to try it if it's, have some profound effect. If someone tells me, I mean, if I haven't done something, it's because no one really turned me on to it yet. Because now I'm actually sober for a long time, but I still do drink. But I'm just wondering about that. You could put cocaine up your ass. I mean,
you can. Yeah, the ass is you can
very
put a lot
thin
in there.
membrane. A lot of blood vessels, right? So you can
well, if you drink up your ass, you get like hammered off like half a sip, right? I mean, I get hammered off half a sip anyway, so it doesn't really matter what hole it goes in.
I don't know. Next, if I should have had butt plugs on here, we could find out.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I think you've tried every drug in existence, I believe.
The only drug I haven't done, I've never shot heroin.
Okay.
That's the one thing. Thankfully, I didn't do that. And I think at the time, I was just... it's interesting. Like, there's these stigmas in every generation, right? Yeah. When I was growing up, there was this incredible stigma against like junkies in the 70s, junkies with needles, right? And like, believe it or not, like cocaine was cool. It was considered like, Pablo Escobar.
Yeah. It was like the modern day matcha. You're like, oh, wow, he's got cocaine. What a healthy guy,
So I think that, and then Quaaludes were like, from the doctor, so they're not bad. They're from the doctor, right? But heroin had this really bad stigma that you do it once and you're addicted for life. Now that's not the truth.
You do it once, you got to live in an Astro van or something.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
All right, so now that we're over up your different holes here, so tell me, what was the pathway? Mm-hmm. Like from, you're doing stand-up, right? And what year is that?
This is like 2014. I was really doing stand-up and videos.
And you're already starting building your social media presence?
Just on Vine, really. That was like the only video app besides YouTube. But this was like this big phenomenon because this was the first video platform besides YouTube that was like everybody had. Right. Everybody was kind of on it at the time.
Got it. So you're back in the early days of Vine with like King Bosch and
all those guys,
and Amanda and Logan and all that.
Yeah, I wasn't as big as them. I had like a fraction of what they had for following, but I had a few videos do like decent size, and then I was like, oh, whoa, this is how it works, And
that was what, 6-second videos?
Yep, 6-second videos.
And how do you tell a joke? I never saw Vine. How did you tell a joke in 6 seconds?
Just quick cuts, trim all the fat. It's like set up, punch. So it'd be like da da da, but it's just so quick, It's and that's what happened is like a lot of people after Vine died, people were like, how do I make long form content? Like, what is long form content? 18 seconds? Like, how do I transition this? So luckily what I like to do is I go big to small, like a 6-minute YouTube video trimmed down to, a quick clip instead of working small to outwards,
So you started with Vine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, you're doing mostly stand up in clubs?
It was a lot of like open mics, just like, trying to find my voice in comedy. So it was like performing in coffee shops, performing in the back of a sports chalet. I performed in a Hooters. Just like the open mic world is anywhere with a microphone can be an open mic, really. So it was, parks, literally anything. I was just hungry for it. I moved out here and I would just do as many of those as I could a night and just like try to find my voice, try to get better. I like wouldn't hang out with friends. I wasn't getting any action. I lived in a pool house in Studio City for a year when I moved out here. All I cared about was just getting funnier and getting better and getting my name out there. And then eventually, like 2017, I was living with some friends from my hometown and just like we shared a little apartment. And then I finally had one video hit. And then I was like, oh, here we go.
And what video was that?
It was making fun of a skateboard store, Zoomies, if you're familiar. They just have very notoriously like douchey, over energetic, like literally like puppy dog energy, but the brain cells of a puppy. You know, you're like, hey, what size is this? And they're like, for sure, dude, the sky's out. And you're like, that didn't answer the question at all. Very nice people that work there, but it's just like very like over the top, like just in your face.
Like Spicoli from Fast Times.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Spicoli mixed with like Rob Gronkowski, just like jacked up and happy to see you.
Right.
So I made fun of kind of that, and then I posted it on Facebook randomly, and then I checked the next morning, I had like 1 million views, and I was like, oh shit, we're on to something. So then I made a follow-up video to that to try and milk it a little bit, and then that video ended up surpassing it by a fuck ton.
Right.
And then I was like, oh shit, maybe I got something here. And that's when I just doubled down. And with Vine was nice because I saw how a video can work, and it's like, okay, you know, I let the fire die out. I had something big go, and then I didn't post for a little bit, and then I kind of stomped out my own fire. But when this one hit later, a couple of years, I was like, all right, let's just keep throwing logs on the fire. You know, just more videos. And then I kind of just haven't let my guard down since, and trying to just maintain it still.
So when did you first, so it was Facebook where it's first hit you, not YouTube?
Yeah, Facebook was the first one, and then YouTube was kind of right behind it. They oddly enough were like very like similar in growth at the same time, and now to this day they're both like neck and neck. One's like 2.2 million, one's like 2.1, so they're both like steady contenders in the game.
So who is your audience now? Is it predominantly, is it male 18 or 16 to 30?
Yeah, it's I just looked at it today, actually, this morning before coming over here. It's like if you went to a Buffalo Wild Wings on like UFC fight night. It's 90% men on YouTube, 10% females. Shout out those 10 if you're watching. And the demo is like 18 to 26. Just that prime, like, I don't have a job, but I always know where I can get hammered for the lowest price, you know?
Right.
So
that's your fan base.
Yeah, but it's a great fan base to have. And some of the most fun comedy shows of my life are performing for my own like fans. You know, they're just, I could be anywhere. I was just in San Antonio. Sorry to brag. San Antonio, and it was like a Tuesday night doing a show out there, and it was packed out, and they're just fun, perfect level of rowdy. They're all drinking, so the club's happy because they're bringing in booze money, and you know they're just down for a good time, really. You know.
So give me an example. So what's of your humor? Like what's your, is it like a structure? You're actually like writing your own jokes. It's all very much scripted. Obviously you have to improv yourself, but it's like, are you doing it? Is it any improv, or it's just you're very mechanical about it?
It's a lot of improv. I think the stand-up's more like scripted, and then with like improv in between, it all tied together. But the video stuff is a lot of improv. It's kind of just like, all right, let's just turn on the cameras. Whatever the fuck I say, let's go for that. Or it'll be like an outline, be like, it'll have beats. It'll be like, here's 3 topics to hit. And then in between that, it's a bunch of loose shit. Because I feel like that's just when you're the funniest, is when you're not trying to be funny. You're just talking to talk, and it kind of comes out. But sometimes I look back at the shit I say in a video, and I go, if that was on a script, that would have looked really weird. Like,
right.
You're like, how is this funny? So sometimes shit just comes out.
Right.
And the internet's like, that. We like that.
Right. All right. So give me an example. Give me a riff here that like the audience, everyone's going to enjoy.
Oh, a riff here.
Yeah, like,
all
no,
right.
like, so how does this happen? Yeah.
Give me like a.
Well, look, right. So right there to your right, you got that's my.
Oh, is that an actual Quaalude?
Unfortunately, if it did, I'd be breaking open the
yeah, I was just gonna say, what is that? An
it.
Altoid? We gotta bust that thing open.
Yeah.
I think if you give me a character, be like, give me your best impersonation of blank, I could probably dabble with something like that, you know?
Okay. So let's say let's throw one out here.
Whose line is it anyways? Cocaine. Nothing.
I would say.
This is a good person. Who's a good person? I want to make it easy for you. Who's someone that you enjoy? Like,
just throw anything. It could be like an employee at Sears, Bed Bath and
Costco.
Costco employee.
How about the girl at Motor Vehicles, the woman at Motor Vehicles, or the man at Motor Vehicles? You know,
the who?
The person behind the desk at Motor Vehicles.
Oh, like the girl.
Well, the girl, like the sort of basically the typically you
got to give me a dealership
woman at Motor Vehicles.
You got to give me a dealership because the Hyundai girl varies from the Maserati girl.
Let's start with the Hyundai girl.
Hyundai girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she's definitely hungover, so she was out the night before. Oh God. Okay, she goes.
Let's really be offensive here.
Here we go. She's definitely busy. She's texting her friend back. She's chewing bubble gum, and she sees you walk in, and she's not making eye contact with you. And she goes, "Name?" For a car? Okay. Did you have fuck, we don't do appointments. It's Hyundai. Yeah. Okay. I guess I could help you. Is there a certain like car you were looking for today? A Hyundai? I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. We love our cars. They're great cars. Actually, Jeff, he can probably, Jeff. Oh, sorry. Jeff's outside vaping. Jeff, can you come in here real quick? Yeah. He's looking for a Hyundai. Okay. Yeah, cool. Well, I'll ring you up after. Okay. I just got to finish this game of just Tinder. I'm just swiping right on everybody. That wasn't great. I don't know. I mean, I was just impersonating my dream female.
How about Mercedes? The girl
Mercedes girl's hot. Mercedes girl, she's hot and she's selling the car without even trying to. So she plays hard a little bit. She plays hard to get a little bit. She's like, "Oh hey, you here to check something out? Okay, yeah. Do you want to go for a cruise? Not with me, of course, unless you're about that. I'm just kidding. Hey Ruben, could you help out this studly gentleman? I think he wants a S-Class Mercedes just so we can match mine. Yeah, so I'll send that over. But how are you? Can I get you an espresso while you wait? Yeah, I said an espresso, not Keurig. It's whatever. If you want to, what are you doing after this? You want to go to Nobu? Oh, I already have reservations. I could swing you in there. But yeah, Ruben, he'll take care of you. All right, I'll talk to you later.
That's the Mercedes. How about the Ferrari girl?
The Ferrari one's got to be like a Dutch accent, but I don't even know how I can do a Dutch accent. I don't Swedish accent.
Swedish. I'm Inga from Sweden. Yeah.
Sweden. I don't even know how to say this. Are you looking for a Ferrari? Oh, you got a little bit of money and a little pep in this step. Oh, I'll get you the Ferrari. Okay. Vroom, vroom. Oh, okay. I don't even, Ferrari. I've never been to a Ferrari dealership. I don't even know if they exist. I think Ferraris just like pop up.
They just
a Ferrari dealership.
No one actually sells them.
Yeah, I think you make a deal with the Lord and then they just show up at your front yard. A Ferrari dealership. Wow. I don't know.
Typically, Ferrari dealerships are not usually standalone dealerships.
Yeah, they're with
they
like
usually
Lambos
have they'll have a few different types of high end cars that
Yeah.
and then Ferrari will be one of them.
I always think about the one in Calabasas. I think it moved. It's like right off the freeway. You know what I'm talking about? If you're going 101 north, it's like that one is like right on the freeway in Calabasas, and it's just like there's a plateau and it overlooks the freeway, and it's just got everything.
How about give me the girl who works at the Starbucks?
Where's the Starbucks? Counter, okay, yeah. Is it a busy Starbucks or is it a slow Starbucks? Because busy Starbucks, it's a lot of it's
full on
fingers flying everywhere. Venti burger, caramel frappuccino. Okay, how many pumps of sweetener did you want? 3? Oh, you didn't want sweetener? Okay, chucks it out the window, grabs a new one, throws the ice in. Here's me scooping the ice. You got to do 7 scoops of ice in there. All right, all their drinks are ice. You want a sweet drink? Okay, cool. And did you want anything else? Did you want a protein bar? Name? Devin? 2 E's? 1 I. Okay, doesn't matter. Trevor, I just spelled it wrong. Here you go.
You know what kills me about though is that they're almost like they purposely name the drinks weird shit, like tall instead of is small, right?
Yeah.
And they're almost like offended, but you don't know their fucking nomenclature, right?
I always just use hands. I go, can I get the one that's like what is it? And then they just say it for me.
Like, oh, you mean the tall asshole, right?
Yeah, the tall, the venti.
Yeah.
I always forget which one. There's grande and venti. Venti is the big boy, but sometimes I just say it because it's first in my mind, and I'm like, I didn't want this much liquid. That's a lot of liquid.
Right.
Or I just go shot of espresso, no numbers. Then they're like, what? It's one size only. There's so much going on. They have a drink right now called the pink drink, which is.
The what?
The pink drink.
The pink drink.
I think it's like some dragon fruit shit, but I'm like, you guys are so like beyond and you're cool with like your terms. You think pink drink's a little basic for them. You think it'd be like the pink passion dragon fucker. I don't know if you can say fuck at Starbucks, but
probably not. Do you think there's something wrong with the world right now?
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I look at the world right now and it's somewhat appalling, like the shit that's going on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, where did everything go wrong? Is it social media that's made the world crazy? Like, for example, and I'm not saying you're in this category because you're not, because you actually have a skill set.
Oh,
but
thank you.
Like in today's world, you're just famous for being famous.
Yeah.
You didn't accomplish anything. You didn't do anything extremely well, extremely bad, or both. Mm-hmm. And it just seems like people are famous. Sometimes you're famous just because you have, a giant set of breasts or a beautiful ass. Or
I have noticed that.
And you have that, right? No.
I'm a little flat chested.
Or you're, a good looking guy, or you do stupid shit. Like you're willing to, how much stupid shit are you willing to do to get yourself likes and views like that, right? But then there's also a lot of very talented people out there, right? But it seems like there's this weird, like when I was growing up, there was like, there was very few people that, were famous. And now it seems like being famous is a business and it's, open to everyone and it's not based on any talent or skill sets. Well, I'm not sure it's a good or bad thing, but that's just the way it is. What are your thoughts on that?
I think what it is everybody has an outlet to social media now. But 10 years ago, people were still doing the same amount of dumb shit, but now it wasn't getting views. Like, for example, people were still riding their bike directly into a thorn bush for 4 of their friends to be like, yeah, Kevin's crazy. But now you do it and you put it on Instagram or TikTok, and then millions of people are like, God, this guy's fucking nuts. And then it goes to his head, and now he's like, if I do something stupid, the views go up. So now he's just going to continually throw himself into thorn bushes until he gets a brand deal with thorn bushes or something. And it's just like they don't have access to the internet. People have always done dumb stuff. It's just they weren't getting the likes and views before now.
But I think people were doing dumb stuff. But what happens is when you can monetize stupidity,
exactly,
it makes you do even more. It comes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it feeds on itself and it feeds on itself until listen, I love TikTok. I have a good following. I just started a few months ago.
Hell yeah!
But I do already have a couple million views, almost 2 million people already.
Shit,
just
started, flex on them.
1.6 million.
I mean, you're a very successful man, so
No, but here's the thing, though. But when I first looked at TikTok, I'm like, this is stupid human tricks, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Then as I started digging deeper into it, you started seeing, more and more interesting things pop up. But there's still, there's some good stuff, and then there's this weird shit that, like, I want you to help me on. You're younger than me, or is it not understandable? Like, why some of the stuff that is just stupid? It's like a girl dancing who's not even hot, by the way. She's like average at best. She's like a 6 maybe. And there'll be like a massive number of people watching this girl do some stupid dance. And I just want to understand, because to me, I don't get that.
But what happens, I think, is all the comments go, why is this girl famous? And then she gets so many comments of people being, why is this girl famous? The more comments just elevate her stuff. So if nobody batted an eye and they're like, yep, that's a video, and kept scrolling, that girl wouldn't get views. But the second it gets like a few and people are just like, what is this bullshit? They're just driving the engagement up. So I think TikTok to me is like channel flipping at a hotel at 3 a.m. You're like, it's a lot of bullshit, but every once in a while you're like, oh, what is this?
It's a great analogy, by the way.
I just learned how to...
It's a really good analogy.
Thank you, yeah. Because I find myself watching shit on TikTok that I would never personally click on, but I'd watch. Like I saw one recently that was like, how I took 2 aquariums and put a bridge in the middle so my betta fish could swim over it. And I was like, I would never click on this video on YouTube, but all of a sudden, I know how to fucking make a betta fish go tank to tank.
And you also know it's going to be really short and quick, so it's sort of a bite-sized chunk of information.
Exactly. It's just...
Like, for example, I saw a video of Gordon Ramsay and his daughter, and I thought that was really cute and cool. Like, that to me was really clever, and she played a practical joke on him, and it was really funny, and it was like with that egg, and that was great. Like I said, well, that's really funny, and that's great. And I like Gordon Ramsay, right? But then you see, then it's like there's a different side of that. That's, to me, I wouldn't say it's not offensive. It's the wrong word. It's just like, it's like an indication there's something wrong with society. Like, what's the bar for entertainment? And like, I don't know, maybe I'm the crazy one though, but seriously, sometimes, it's just me. I'm the problem. If that many people like something, well, then I'm in the minority. I'm the wrong. I see what you're saying. So like, I wonder though, because like it just seems like shit that shouldn't be popular is popular, and stuff that's obviously contrived in a scam people buy into, and I'm wondering what's behind it all.
Yeah, that is, the bar for entertainment is so low because a lot of times it's just somebody talking straight to the camera. But I think people like that because they're feeling like they're being talked to. That's why a lot of YouTube personalities talk to the camera and not like me and you right now, we're talking to each other. So somebody's watching us talk. But when you talk to the camera, the person behind the screen is like, oh, Trevor's talking to me, I should listen. So the bar for entertainment is simply just turning to the camera and talking, because now people feel engaged to be like, oh, are they talking to me? What are they saying? So it's like the bar is anywhere from somebody just telling them about their day or their trip they had to Starbucks, which could have a little bit of humor, or it's somebody doing like a backflip off their motorhome into shards of glass. It's like, And that's what really TikTok is. It's just everything at once. It's like, it'll be a cooking video. The next video is tits. And then the third one's how to play Scrabble when you're blindfolded. It's like, there's no trajectory. So it keeps your hook. Because if it was the same category, video after video, you'd eventually get tired. You're like, that's enough comedy for the day. That's enough, whatever, how to swim the breaststroke in a row. Like after a while, you're like, I've seen it. So it's like everything's something new. That's why it just keeps your attention. And it's like, that's why every app has their version of that now.
So if you brought that down to like pure psychology, you're saying that, Meisner has like, you're hitting certain human needs, right?
That's
like
a Red Bull talking right there.
A need for certainty, a need for uncertainty. So there's the certainty that you're going to eventually see something funny, right? And it's going to be short and, you're not going to get caught up in anything too long. And then there's the uncertainty that you never know what's coming next, right?
Yeah.
So what's coming next, right? So...
I literally do that. I'll be scrolling and I go, okay, I'm going to scroll until I find a funny video. And then once I laugh, I'm going to get off. Right. And so I'm looking for that funny video. And I feel like I'm like a judge on like America's Got Talent. I'm like, didn't laugh. And then I find something that's funny and I go, now I can finally put my phone down and do what I want it to do. Well, let me do one more video. And it's just like, they got you. It's just like, if you think about it, this scrolling is like a hamster on a wheel. You're just circle after circle after circle. They got you hooked in there.
All right, guys, today I want to talk about something important to me, and this is true when you hear it. If you've been following me for a while, I love to help people reach success and fulfillment, right? Some of you need to hear this. The only thing standing between you and your goals is the bullshit story you keep telling yourself as to why you can't achieve it. And for some of you, and this was me at one point, by the way, and you all know this is true, what's standing your inevitable path to success is substance abuse. Trust me, I know it's hard. Making a commitment to sobriety shouldn't have to mean sacrificing the comfortable lifestyle you've come to know. Why not experience the best of both worlds? If you're ready to take part in a world-class treatment program and prefer the luxury of a beautifully appointed residential villa or a mansion in sunny South Florida, it's time to consider United Recovery Project. Through both an expansive alumni network offering support and a staff with firsthand personal experience with addiction, you'll be supported by those who know exactly what you're going through and how to best help. United Recovery Project works with most major health insurance plans and also providers to help cover the costs of your addiction treatment. So if you or your loved one is suffering from substance addiction, go to urphelp.com and begin the road to recovery today. That's urphelp.com. All right, want to grow your business, diversify your content? You're not going to find a better tool out there than Melon for your live streaming needs. Blazing fast response time, low CPU usage, all available right in your browser. Go to melonapp.com/wolf and start streaming today. Is there anybody on YouTube or one of these platforms that's famous that really bothers you, that you just feel like they have no business being famous, that you want? Tell me someone, give me an example of someone that just really, it just irks you, like this person has no business being famous and they're not funny, they're not anything, yet you're just like, no, this should not be. Like, and you want to almost scream from the hilltops, like, why, right? Give me an example.
There's got to be, but a lot of times I don't even like pay enough interest to them to like know their name. I go, what is this? What is
you know their name. You just do you have
a good example of that? I'm trying to think.
I do have some examples of that.
Let me hear an example, then we'll go from there.
I have an example of someone I'll tell you. His name is Dan Locke. Okay, he's not a comedian, but he goes on to onto the platforms and he's an alleged sales trainer, but he can't sell his weight of a paper fucking bag. And he steals all my shit. And I'm okay with that because everyone steals my shit. And that's fine. That's whatever. The more the merrier. I have my brand and that's that. But he steals it very poorly and he uses it to separate people from their money. And uses it to sell biz ops and overpriced stuff. So that bothers me. That's an example of someone who bothers me. I feel like they're not out there acting ethically, and I feel like that's rich coming from me, right? But hey, I'm probably the most ethical person out there these days.
Yeah,
I wasn't in my younger days, but I learned from that. And that's one person that's just an example. There's many like him, but I'm talking in terms of like influencers, your space. Is there someone out there that you feel like, you know what, this person's just a fucking loser?
Oh man, I have a lot of people that copy my style of comedy, and I don't even think I'm like the pioneer of it, but I do think that there's a big trend that kind of like if you see a certain video, you go, oh, that's like Trevor Wallace inspired. So anytime I see people do that, I go like, okay, you know, like it'd be nice if you found your own thing. But I don't also want to be the gatekeeper where I'm like, you can't do my style, because eventually it's like, it all comes back to me, because then the comments go, this is like Trevor Wallace. And then the people watching go, who's Trevor Wallace? And it like, so it kind of circles in. But there's a good amount of people.
Give you an example. I look at a guy like King Bosch, right?
Yeah.
And I can see why he has a big following. Like, he works really hard at what he does. He comes up with like listen, you could sometimes laugh or not laugh, whatever. Sometimes he's better than others, but he's actually really giving value in the sense that he's creating skits, he's doing editing, and you can see, everything. And you're like, well, someone like Amanda Cerny, who I know really well, like, you see, she's developing. Now, she's a beautiful girl, and sometimes she'll just have a picture of her and people have a zillion likes, but she also spends a lot of time developing clever content, and she's funny and she's self-deprecating. So like, I get it. But then there's other people out there that are just like, I don't get it. Like, I'm like, what's this about? And it almost feels like it somehow. And then there's the whole, like, like the shitcoin promoters, okay, which drives me fucking crazy.
They're all over the place.
No, it's terrible. That's horrifically bad what's going on right now.
Yeah, we were talking about that on the way over here. How just like it's like a pump and dump.
No, the whole thing is, and listen, I was the king of pump and dump, so I know how deadly it can be. Right? I perfected it and brought it to a new level in the 90s, But to see it happening right now with like, influencers misusing their power and there being no consequences, I think is really fucked up. Now, this is not saying I'm a big fan of crypto, but that's why I really hate it, because it gives crypto a bad name, and I think the future is going to be crypto. I really believe that, but not with shit coins, because there's two types of crypto. There's crypto that is designed to have use in the world. Things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and whatnot, Matic, right? That actually have genuine uses, right? And that who knows what will happen, but they're not scams. They're just, you can hate it, you could love it, but it's real. There's people that give a shit about it. Then there's other stuff that is simply out there to just separate people from their money. It's created by a small group of people who pump the shit up, and they talk about it openly. Like, they openly discuss this on platforms, which is shocking to me, because like, they're going to go to jail.
Oh, really? You can go to jail for that?
Of course they'll go to jail.
Oh, shit.
So don't invest in Trev coin. Trev coin is not the future.
No, if you're out there pumping up a coin like that, and that if it turns out that you owned a big supply, you're telling everyone else to buy, and as you're doing that, and you do it, let's say you do it once. Yeah. You're probably not going to jail, right? But there's some people doing it again and again and again in a systematic way, and they will in the next 12 to 24 months.
Damn.
Listen, I know this because, like, I've been through it, right?
Oh, yeah.
The wheels of
if
justice.
If anybody's been through it,
the wheels of justice grind slowly. And, like, you think, oh, man, I'm getting it. Suddenly, everything is a paper trail. And, like, 4 years later, they go on your door.
Well, it's quick cash. And I don't think they're thinking that they're going to go to jail for this. Like, how can I go to jail if I tell some people to invest in Trev coin? Well, I don't think anybody...
I don't think anyone who invests in this stuff is going to go to jail at all. And I don't think it's bad. And I think you should all try to make as much money as you can, but be careful. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is a small group of people that are creating coins specifically so they can send them to a small group to pump them up, and then dump it out. And I was just in Italy, and it was a girl there who, and she lost a lot of money in Dogecoin, which is a bit different than that. It's very different, Dogecoin. It's its own unique craziness, right? But it's not like that. I'm not saying Doge is that. Doge is different, all right? I'm not a fan of it, but either way, it's not a scam like that, right? It's a different type of thing. It's taking on some weird life of its own.
Yeah, okay? it's like it's teetering. It's up there with Bitcoin.
I'm not talking about. Yeah, exactly. It's got its own thing. Who knows what's going to happen at this point, right? With it, right? I mean, again, I don't put it in the same category as a Bitcoin or an Ethereum, but whatever. I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about all these new coin offerings of the week, and they're just literally designed to screw people, right?
I see that. You know what else I see is influencers promoting a coin, but they do like an asterisk at the bottom that goes, "This is not financial advice."
That doesn't matter. That's not going to help them when they come for the handcuffs.
I know, but it's going to be funny when court goes, well, here, and the lawyer goes, well, it says right here, this is not financial advice, in an asterisk with the prayer hands emoji next to it, not financial advice.
When I used to sell my stocks at Stratton, we would send every single person a letter saying, this stock is manipulated. If you invest anything in this stock, you're going to lose it all. Because it's manipulated by me, it's going to be trading at a price that's either way above or way below its fundamental value. If you invest anything in this, you're fucking crazy. And we sent it out to every single person that ever opened up an account at Stratton.
Yeah.
And it slowed the SEC, befuddled the SEC for a while. but not the FBI. Like it's different. When it comes to criminal activity, the rules are very, very different.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right?
I didn't even think about that.
I'm talking about as a girl who I met in Italy, young girl, 22, and I was doing a seminar there, and I said, hey, who here has ever invested in crypto? And she raised her hand, and she's like, I did. I said, how did you? She said, I lost all my money. I said, and what? She said, Dogecoin. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, why'd you buy it? She goes, because Elon said so.
Yeah.
That's really sad to me. That's like a really, really sad thing. And
Elon Musk is the biggest influencer in the world
and
right
I
now.
like Elon. I like Elon Musk. I was always a big fan because I don't think he realizes the damage,
The power,
well, the damage that's being done to average people. Because the sophisticated people are smart enough to get in and get out.
Yeah.
But she's that's the typical person. It's the last person on the deal team who's just some young girl who thinks, oh, if Elon says it, it must be true.
Yeah.
And he might have said it because he was in a joke one day, he's in a funny mood one day and put a meme out there, and that's that.
He sneezes too hard and Bitcoin shoots up. So it's like people listen to him more than anybody, which is so funny because it's like he's a Tesla guy. Like as much as his influence in crypto, it's like he's a Tesla guy.
Well, he's a brilliant guy.
Oh, 100%.
And he deserves to have influence because he's earned that right.
Right.
I guess
people don't look into it. They're just like, he said, I'm in.
Right. So I guess the issue is like, you're dealing these wildly volatile assets that, for the most part, people are going to lose a lot of money and some will make money. But I guess my point is, the reason I'm bringing this up is this is all part of this thing of like with great power comes what?
Responsibility?
Bingo. Spider-Man, right? His Uncle Ben said that, right?
Yeah.
And I think what's happening now is that there's been this sort of multi-step process here where social media has allowed many young people who would otherwise not be famous at all, have any power, has given them the power to go out there and get people to engage in things and also make decisions about things, right? Yeah. And I think that on some level, many of them might not be aware of just how damaging or how empowering that could be, depending on the information they give. Now, you're a comedian, right? All you're doing is bring, hopefully, laughter to the world, right? But what I'm starting to feel the world's upside down is it seems like there's been a crossover now, which there's a lot of malevolent things that are happening as a result of this influencer market, and it's sort of going to end in some gigantic cataclysmic crash unwinding, because it always does. It always does. And what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a lot of people that have the biggest influence are it's hard because of brands. Like somebody like Post Malone could have the biggest influence in the world, but he's only worrying about people that are like Bud Light and like Budweiser and like massive brands. Where it gets dangerous is when smaller influencers with enough of a following aren't making that much money, and then a random company who might not be great, they're a Kickstarter, they're a brand new company, goes, hey, we'll give you $2,000 if you yell about this type of shit. And they go, oh, okay. Right. They're targeting the young people. But if like the most influential people aren't going to do the smaller.
I think the Post Malone's the good version of it.
Yeah, like
that's the great version. That's
his is all thought out. There's lawyers, there's a team, there's a process. But it's like, it's like even when I was early starting on, like there was this vape company that was like, hey, we'll give you $1,000 for like 4 videos. And this is early on. I just quit my job. I'm looking for a quick K, and I'm like, I need to pay rent somehow. And I was doing these stupid ads that now I look back on. I was like, what was I fucking doing? It's like, why didn't I just focus on making genuine content? Because now I'm just promoting just like random vapes. I don't even smoke. I'm just doing this. I would like hit it, get the cut, blow it out, cough. Like it was just like, so it's the people that are looking for quick money grabs that don't realize they have a big following. So
I don't think that I don't think you should be too hard on yourself about that. I mean, I think that's fine. I'm talking about like this sort of idea that there's this sort of weird undercurrent developing in the world right now that can potentially cause a lot of pain for a lot of people in their teens, 20s right now. And I think most of you have not been through a disastrous economic crash. I've been through 3 of them already. And they always happen. And there's you never see them coming. You always know they're coming, right? And I guess this sort of feeling I get is that there needs to be some like a level of like responsibility among, because like, I think also the young influencers don't realize that the money's in the long game.
Long haul, yeah. Everybody's in quick cash right now, so they're gonna burn out eventually, and that's why you got the guys that are, 10 years after Vine, they're just like they're not to be seen. And you see a picture, I'm like, God, what the fuck happened to him?
Who's that?
Yeah. So it's all quick cash, but I'm definitely a long run kind of guy where I just see like. It's like I just got an offer for a brand deal that was like a great amount of money, but it's to promote a nicotine brand. And I go back to this shit again. I go, do I want to be the guy I was in 2017?
Right.
Do I turn that down? Because I know later down the line, a bigger company might be like, okay, let's work with him. He has a clean page. But if they go to my page, I go, he does like ads for like this like tobacco type stuff. So I'm definitely in it for the long haul, and I think that's great about stand-up. Videos might take you to movies, videos might stay where you're at, but stand-up comedy is like dudes do that until they're in their casket. So that's something where I want to
listen. I don't want you or anyone else to get me wrong. If I was 20 years old, whatever it was, right, I'd be going after this with a vengeance, like this ability to go out and become an influencer or whatever. There's nothing wrong with it at all. My question for you is, what's your path? You're in a good spot right now, right? Do you have like a plan for yourself for like the next 5 years, at least something you're aiming for, an outcome that you're looking for? Is it sort of more day by day for you? What's your plan?
Invest in Trev coin. That's a big thing here. I think the biggest thing is I'm pitching a show right now, and whether that goes to a streaming service like Netflix or Hulu or HBO, that'd be awesome. If it doesn't, there's always more out there. But
what kind of show is it? Tell me.
It's a sketch comedy show where I would play multiple characters, kind of like Chris Lilly, if you're familiar with him, or like Nutty Professor, where he was a multiple character. So I'd play multiple of my characters, and it's kind of like a sketch comedy, kind of like Workaholics-ish type of feel. So that would be awesome, and if that sells, that'll definitely take up a good chunk of time of mine. But if that doesn't, I'm still auditioning for shit. I'm not booking anything, but I always want to do the internet stuff along with stand-up, but I also want to try the other shit that comes around it, whether it's like movies or film and all that. It's I just want to give it all a go. But I think in the next 5 years, I'd love to sell the show and continue the stand-up and continue online videos, because online is the new TV right now. So it's like I'm in a great place because what TV actors want, I have, and what TV, like, it's vice versa. I want what they have, they want what I have.
Everyone, the whole world's like, you always want to be what you're not.
Exactly.
Right?
It's like I have the following, but I don't have the experience to work on set with some of these massive, cool guys and like look professional. But it's like, it's like, so we're swapping lives a little bit. So I just want to be like a multi-hyphenate, I guess, where I can just do both. And like Batch. Batch is a great example of that, where it's like he has a massive following online. He's in countless Netflix films, and he's kind of just like, he's just living, he only does what he wants to do, which is a great way to live. And he's just, one week he's filming a movie, the next he's just shooting some skits with some friends, and that's kind of where I want to be at.
So is there like a plan? So is there a plan that you have where you like, do you do a certain number of skits each week? So how does it work? Yeah,
I just one a week for like definite. That's like for sure every week you go to my channel, there will be a new video on Monday or Tuesday. That's like people can bank on that. And then anything else, there might be an extra one, or, that's like YouTube. But I'm throwing random shit on TikTok all the time, whether it's just like the dumbest of shit or like an old video that I resurface. But guarantee it'll be like one new video a week, but I'm always trying to think about adding more and just like,
How many times a day do you post on TikTok? Multiple times a day?
Probably like one a day. Yeah, I've like talked to people at TikTok that like work there, and they're like, yeah, it's, you don't need to do a fuck ton, just like one a day is solid.
And do you have some sort of system that you use for TikTok? Like, is there certain things that you look to do, or no? Do you like look to fit into a certain matrix, or?
I'm all over the place. Like, I'll upload sketches on there, but then I'll also upload straight to camera shit, just because like you never know what's gonna hit on there, and it's like people like short dumb shit on there, like a 10-second joke. And a lot of it's about retention rate. Did people watch a video all the way through? So if I upload a minute content, they're like, that takes a dedicated person to watch a minute when they're used to going like this. Right. I try everything. I'll try 10-second shit, I'll try 1 minute shit. I just try to keep it diverse, because the most random shit hits. Like, you never know what, like my biggest videos on there are all ones that I go like, really, this? So
how big is when you get a big hit? How many is that? How many million views is that?
The biggest one I had recently was like just some stupid thing, was like 25 million, and I was like, that's countries, that's massive amounts of numbers.
25 million.
Yeah.
And what's the average one, you think?
I think if I hit around 1 million, that's like pretty happy.
And how would that relate to like Instagram? So what are you looking for in Instagram?
Instagram is probably about that too, but yeah, Instagram I post more. I'm more selective on the shit I post. It's more like this is a well shot and edited video. TikTok, I'm like, here's
Down and dirty.
Yeah, here's something I saw on the freeway today. Boom, there you go. You know, like I posted a video of a zebra and I go, do you think he knows that he's got the best coat out of horses? People are like, yeah, great point. You know, it can be just quick shit. You know, TikTok is just like tapping through stories. You know,
Sure.
So it's just like it's just a quick thing. Can you get out a joke or a laugh? It's like that Vine mentality. It's just like quick, boom.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So it's interesting on TikTok. I've noticed that there are certain, sort of things that were pretty likely to go viral on TikTok.
Ass and tits.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Unfortunately, my ass and tits aren't what they
You got
used to
good
be.
pecs.
I got decent pecs.
What do you think is ones that are like, oh, this is probably going to go?
Well, for me, so my struggle with this is you try to find stuff that's on brand.
Correct.
Like, for example, I literally had no presence on TikTok a few months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a few old videos where we post like a sales train video. No one cared about that, right? And then I had a very funny experience where Harry Jowls, you know him?
I do.
He's a good, nice guy. Came here and he's like, "Oh, let me show you how to go viral on TikTok. I can get you viral on TikTok in 2 seconds."
Oh shit.
I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "I promise you, I'll get you 5 million views in 2 seconds."
Jesus.
He goes, "Yeah, look at the camera." I looked at the camera. He's like, "Done." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You're gonna go viral." He took this filter, and it was like a rainbow filter with this whole meow 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 meow. That thing, right?
Yeah.
It had 8 million views the next day.
Really?
8 million, right?
A lot of it's just hopping on popular trends.
So it's then I was like, whoa! I was shocked. I was watching this thing get like 100,000 views a minute. I was like, unbelievable. Then I met another girl, young girl, very, very popular influencer, and she said to me, well, when it comes to TikTok, it's really, kind of pretty simple. Someone like you to go viral. She says, all you got to do is hop on a trend and use one of their tools.
Yeah.
She goes, use a tool, hop on a trend, then you have a very, very strong shot of
yeah,
going
then you
viral.
add your spin to it. So
Right,
you take your
exactly.
brand mixed with a
Correct.
popular trend,
Yeah.
and you combine the two because
Right.
people are used to seeing that trend.
Exactly.
They go, "Oh, what's Jordan's take on
Yeah.
this?"
So
You know?
my son, who's in the audience, he started running that for me, and we got it down to like where we can. It's like almost an automatic to get a minimum of 3 to 5 million views, pretty much on anything we post.
Shit, boot it up. Let's
Right?
do it.
Yeah. No, but the point is, the challenge is though, and the biggest one I got was 25.5 million views and it was something that, but
Jeez.
see, I understood why I got it though. It was a very much an on brand thing where some kid asked a question and goes, give me one reason why America is the greatest country in the world, right? That was his question, and my answer was, because you could, make a ton of money, make some mistakes, lose it all, go to jail, okay, learn from your mistakes, and have Leonardo DiCaprio play you in a fucking movie. In other words, like, and which is true, because only in America could you really come back like that. In most countries, you make mistakes, you go back, you're just done. It's very, very
Exactly.
hard.
But what you did is you took a trend, you put your own brand on it. That's a recipe right there for a hit.
Right.
Because everybody is now going, because everybody either knows about you or knows the movie, and then they combine the worlds and they go, "Oh, that's this guy.
Right.
He's on TikTok."
Yeah.
So it's that. But.
So then we tried some other ones, and we've done really well with it. But the danger is that you can I don't want to be that guy like that gets the cheap laughs. Not what I'm interested in. I did it once. I did a thing with it. I thought it was so funny. Like I had this thing, gunshots falling into the pool. Right, we got like 8 million views, or that 6 million views for that. Right, but after I did it, I enjoyed doing it because I thought it was just fun, jumping in the pool and stuff like that. But I was like, you know what? I got to draw the line there because it's not what I do. It's not really it's not clever. So we said, let's keep it more to like where like I think what I enjoy is calling out stupid shit.
Yeah.
Don't you think there's like a
100%.
lot of stupidity and a lot of
and I like to take trends that are popular and then put my own comedic spin on
Right,
it.
like the stupidity
like
of
the
life.
funny shit is like,
Right.
you know, it's so what I think what you do is you do a couple that are for your brand, and then you do a couple videos that are just for you. Whether you go, whether this gets 2 views or 2 million views,
Right.
I'm doing this for me. So I do that a lot where I go, I think this idea is so funny. I've always wanted to do it.
I don't care what people
exactly.
Right.
And then the best case scenario is when one of those videos does
Right.
well. And then you're like, cause I know you know Joey Rose, right?
Yeah.
So I did a video with her about like, I was like a porn actor who wanted to be a real actor, and she played like the porn actress in it. And I just thought it was so funny to have a guy who wants to do Hollywood, but instead he's doing like buttholes and stuff. So like I made this video with John who shot it and filmed it, and it was such a passion project, and people loved it. And I was like, that's what I want. I want to make a show where people are like, he's on brand, people are amazed with it,
Right.
and he's playing what he wants, and that's like the true beauty. But so often of it is it's you play your brand. You know, I know my brand of comedy, and then also every once in a while you throw something else out there. And the hard part is not getting discouraged when something that you're passionate about doesn't hit as well, and you're like, oh, what the fuck.
What's in your opinion? What's the best piece of content you've ever created?
Wow. I might even say that video I was just talking about. It was just shot really well. I love a good mockumentary. I love just like when it's, you know, just making fun of something, but shot really well. It might even be that video. I mean, we rented a house in Beverly Hills for it, and it looked aesthetically great. It came together exactly how I like visioned it. And it was one of those, like when I was watching the edit, I was just like smiling the whole time. Right. And it did a cool amount of views. It's not like nearly my biggest one at all, but it made me feel just like happy because I was like, this is the vision, and people received it. The worst is when you're like, because I've also done shit where I was like, oh, this is such a funny idea, and then I post it and people are like, meh, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, I've had that also. I'll do something for instance with my dog, right?
Yeah.
And like I love my dog, right?
Yeah.
Like, my dog, you saw my dog is insane, right?
Oh, yeah.
The dog is singular of mind and purpose. It wants to just chase a ball at all costs.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks at the ball and like it shakes like with anxiety, like please throw the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Just please throw this fucking ball. Cause and the dog will go crazy just watching it like this. And you throw it in the pool, the dog will do like literally a swan dive, like from an Empire State Building to get the
Oh,
the
yeah.
ball.
It's
crazy,
Olympic
right?
style. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is great stuff. Like, I'm like, let's put some wings on the dogs. And no one fucking cared.
Yeah.
I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't like my dog? I'm like, fuck you. That's it.
I think you have a big cat audience.
I was like, yeah, I was like,
leading to.
that's fucking that. Okay, that's it. That's
know.
it. No more dog. But I think on Instagram though, when I think we did a funny thing, we taught the dog to swim, and we had massive amount of people watching us live streaming him learning how to swim. Learning to swim. So I think it's like each platform has got its weird. It's like its own identity, right?
Oh yeah. And what hits on, you know, Instagram versus TikTok won't hit on Facebook necessarily. It's like Facebook for me just reminds me of like this like middle of America, kind of just like the middle states, and they're like, we're here for that and this is that. But like if I do a video that's too niche, that plays too like California, they're like, not for us. So it's like you kind of got to find the balance, and that's why I kind of post it on everywhere, because if I only post one video on one platform, it only has one chance to do well. But if I post it on 5 different platforms, it's more of like a shotgun effect. One of them will hit,
right?
You know? Not always, but it gives it more of a chance. And that's why, you know, I've always, that first question you asked is like, did you want to have a following on everywhere? I was like, yeah, because I want like shit to hit other places, because you only got one shot for one video. It's like, that's a lot of pressure on that video.
Right.
And then if it flops, then your mental health is like, fuck, guess I'm not funny. But if it bombs everywhere but crushes on, I did a video that I thought was so funny, so smart. It was like what the milk actually does to the Rice Krispies, you know, because it's like snap, crackle, and pop. I thought it'd be funny if the milk got poured and then just beat the shit out of Rice Krispies. And it bombed everywhere except TikTok. It got like 2 million views. And I go, there we go. People on TikTok get it. But up until that, I was like, is this just not funny? This is so funny to me.
I think like
it was just off brand for.
Well, I think also some of it, I think, has to do with like if they put you on their page, right? They have to put you on the main feed, right?
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
I've had times when I was rocking on TikTok where I was like literally getting 100,000 views a minute. Like I was like, what the? I was like, whoa! I was like, and I watched it just go, you know,
Doesn't seem
ratchet.
real,
Like,
yeah.
it's unbelievable. So obviously, it's just. I guess I'm just saying, was it a ratio of likes to views? Was it comments to views, shares? And you try to figure out
dude, you'll drive yourself insane. You go, I posted at 7:14 p.m. I'm gonna post the first video that I ever posted was at 7 o'clock at night on a Monday, and then every week after that, I was like 7 o'clock on Mondays. That's the spot. I mean, it's like anything, it's like gambling. It's like you're like, oh, this works when I do that. So you just see what works, and you stick to it. But
it's only once I think where I posted something that I knew was going to hit. I knew it would hit any platform. And that was when the whole GameStop thing was going on. I did this, I'm not fucking leaving. And I intercut it with the Wolf of Wall Street. And that was like, you could have posted that on like anywhere. And it got millions of views everywhere.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's always it's a bit of a crapshoot,
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why it's fun. It's like gambling. You throw out a video out there and you're like, it's like rolling the dice. You don't know what it's going to land on. And it's like, once it's out there, you kind of just sit back and watch.
Let me ask you an important question. So, one of the best things about being a rock star is you get laid by the hottest girls. How about comedians?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot. It's more so on the digital side of things, because I think shows is like a little different. Shows, rock stars have the capability to like be at the front row of the crowd and just like slip their number to their bouncer and be like, oh, give it to him and whatnot. So I think it's more so like the DMs kind of just really evolutionized the modern day, like what that is.
What I'm saying is, tell me about your love life.
Oh, right. I have a girlfriend. I have a girlfriend now, but
you do?
Yeah.
And how long are you guys together?
Almost 2 years.
Okay. And how'd you guys meet?
DMs. The DMs, the best wingman in the world.
So tell me, how was the process? What happened? In other words, you met her somewhere and then DM'd her, or no, just all
internet. So it happened out. This was a couple of years ago when the videos were first starting to pop off. I saw she liked the video, and then so I went to her page, just kind of scrolling around, because men are horny, as they say. And then I tapped her page and it said like where she went to school, and it was in LA, and I was like, oh shit. And then I liked the picture, and then she liked the picture back, and I was like, we're in. DM'd her, and then we kind of met up, and then this was like 2017, and then we met up, went on a few dates, and then we had like 2 years where we didn't really talk, just because it's like she was like just about to graduate and whatnot, so she was focusing on that, and I was really still in that phase of just like only giving a fuck about comedy, and then we kind of started seeing each other again about 2 years ago. So kind of just like we both like took time to grow in between, and then we kind of just came up to where we are now.
And so you're together now for how long? 2 years then?
About that, yeah.
And how's it going?
Solid. I mean,
how was it like during the pandemic? Were you guys locked away together in the same place?
No, we don't live together, but it was nice to like have somebody during all that, because there's that chunk where it's like people weren't even leaving their house. It was like spooky outside. So it's kind of scary. But yeah, that's all. It's been good. I can't complain. I think. She's younger than me, so she's still like...
How old is she?
She's 25.
Okay, so what does she do?
She's in finance, actually.
Really?
She works... I think she was telling me before this, she does like mergers and acquisitions.
Okay.
So she does like important shit. She was saying something about like... I think you guys had similar job, like, or like her boss, like I don't know. I don't know finance for shit, but apparently like... when I told her I was doing this podcast, she was like, oh my God, you got to ask about this and that and all this finance shit. And I was like, I don't even know. I forgot all of it.
It's all my fucking ass.
But she knew.
I'm just a comedian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's somebody who would watch like Wolf of Wall Street and be like, oh, see, that is actually based on this because they did that. She's like very intellectual in that sense of things. So yeah, she knew all about like your company and this and that. And I was like, I should have brought her, but she had finance shit to do. Yeah. But market closes at 1. So she was still wrapped up in some shit.
How about what's your family like?
Family's it's just a very generic family. They're great. My mom and dad are still together, which is shocking because I live in Los Angeles and everybody has, separation issues with that. But my sister lives in New York. She's kind of just she works like a real job. She does like social justice work.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, I like do boomerangs for work. So it's all over the place. But my dad's retired. My mom is kind of like on her way out from retiring soon. They're both just kind of hanging. My dad just golfs a fuck ton. My mom writes for food articles, so she's a big foodie. So it's a very like you wouldn't see my family like if you saw
what part of California you grew up in?
Ventura County.
In Ventura. Yeah. What area in Ventura?
Camarillo.
Okay.
So if you saw like my sister and my two parents at like at a bus stop, you wouldn't be like, oh, that's Trevor Wallace's family. People just expect my family to be yelling at all given times, which is pretty on brand, I guess. But yeah, they're just a very, normal, cool family.
Have you ever done stand-up and just fucking bombed?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's terrifying. You start sweating from places you didn't even know you could sweat.
Yeah, and what's that like? Tell me what
the
that
side
feels
of your
like.
head is sweating up top. It's terrifying. It's like, it's...
Do you know like what happened? Like, oh fuck! It's
Well,
like what's that moment like before you're just realizing you're bombing? Is that like when it's at the worst? Like,
well, I mean, now it's like I have enough experience where if something's going bad, I can pull. It's like I have like a shelf of like these jokes work at any time, anywhere. Let's do it. But in the early days, you don't have that. You don't have anything to fall back on, and you go, I thought this was the funniest part. Usually what fucks you up is you go, this part is funny, and then you say it and nobody laughs. And then it stirs everything up because now your brain's like, what the fuck? Why wasn't that laughing? And then you're like, I mean, it's crazy because you have an audience staring at you and you only, and you're facing them. And it's like showdown where you're like, hey, prove to us you're funny. And you have nothing.
Right.
So, I mean, now I can usually
and like
pull myself out of it.
When you bomb, like is it like so you're like basically sweating bullets?
Dude, they
you're
can
just dying
see
to get off stage.
It's awkward because like they know you're not doing well, you know you're not doing well. Everybody is like acknowledging it like mentally when it's just like dead silent. And then a lot of times when you're newer in stand up, you intellectually like you just muscle memory, you lash out at the crowd and you go, oh, what, that's not funny? When in reality it wasn't, you know, or oh, what, you guys don't like blank jokes? And it's like, no, it just wasn't funny, you know.
Right.
There's an audience for anything, but yeah, it's awkward. Now it's like the more you do it, you just learn to just kind of just pretend it never happened, then move on to something different, you know.
But I think every comedian, even the top in the world, they all have gone through this, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
What does it take, you think, to be a comedian? Like, what is there one trait that is the most important one of all, you think?
You just have to be really good at asking why. You know, it's like it's observational stuff. You go like let's say I hated this chair, and I'd be like, why do I hate this chair? What about this chair pisses me off? And then you break it down, and then you put in like categories, essentially being like, you know, this is a terrible example. I don't know why I picked this chair, but it's the closest thing near me. You could be like, I hate chairs because blank. You guys ever been sitting in one of those chairs at like a hotel lobby? You know, the ones that are like shaped like a Lucky Charm marshmallow, and everyone's like, oh yeah. So it's just like you pretty much just being observational is the biggest thing, and just like asking why and being able to like break it down. So
how about, you know, resiliency and things like, is there like certain like the ability to like just power through, you know, audiences that don't laugh and not become like negative on that? Like is this a big part? Is there like a mental game of toughness to it too?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. A lot of times it's like, you know, you kind of just go, okay, well, this is, in the back of your head, you go, okay, whatever. As long as I can get a few laughs out of this, or you're like, all right, fuck it, whatever. 7 minutes left. This audience is hammered. Because I've done shows that are like at a casino where everybody's hammered, and I go, whatever. I got another 7 minutes of this shit. Just power through it. But I've also had times where I just said, dude, I did this private birthday party at Mastro's in Costa Mesa. The pay was solid, but it was the worst setup ever. There was a kid's table and a parent's table, and I was performing on like the wooden dance floors that they put at like bar mitzvahs, and I had no lights or a microphone. It was dark where I was.
And with the plates clacking, clinking, like, you know. It's like
I wish it was dead silent. They were, what the kids would laugh at, the parents wouldn't. What the parents laugh at, the kids. So I had to like play table to table. And after doing 2 jokes, I go, this isn't gonna. So then I just start talking to them like conversationally, because I go, look, I already got paid. Whatever the fuck happens for the next 8 minutes,
right.
You know? So then I just start doing like crowd work, or just talking about the parents and, you know, this and that, and, you know, like kind of poking fun at them. And that got a way better response. But man, when you show up to a gig like that and you go, hey, stand-up comedy is a very simple art form. You need a microphone and something to project the microphone. And when they don't have either of those, you're like, oh, this is not going to be good. And that's how it was. So the shittier the gigs, you kind of just in the back of your head go, you know what? I'm getting paid to talk per minute. Let me just be thankful for that. But God, I've been to so many shitty gigs that were just unpaid, just on the come up, where like just trying to get better, and they're just horrendous. And you just go, well, there's always tomorrow. You know, it makes you want to do more shows, because if a show is really bad, you're like, fuck this place. Let me go somewhere else where I can try it again, workshop it a little bit. It's kind of just used to it. You know, it's like stand-up comedy is great because it trains you to like be desensitized to like, if a crowd's shit, you're like, cool. whatever.
Right.
What do I expect? It's at a fucking airline hangar. Of course it's going to be shit. So
Right. Now, do you sell a course?
yes.
So tell me about the course that you sell.
So I sold this. He actually shot it with me too. It was a social media masterclass until masterclass sent me a cease and desist. But that's just masterclass. So now it's a social media course, not masterclass. It's pretty much my
they
process
sent you a cease and desist
for using their name masterclass. Yeah,
the masterclass is a generic name.
that's what I thought.
I've used it before.
Yeah, but I didn't put the space in. So where they are, it's like if it's two separate words, sure. But I was putting it one word, like masterclass, like what they do, and I used their logo for a thumbnail.
That probably is why you got this.
Yeah, so I switched all that. I just switched the wording.
Plot thickens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, I have masterclass tattooed on my pec. No. So I just changed up the wording. We're fine now. But it's pretty much a start to finish of like how I get ideas, how I come up with them, to executing, to filming, to editing, to posting, how I post on TikTok, how I post on Facebook, the different formats, and like because like YouTube is like your traditional widescreen, TikTok is vertical, Facebook I do a square format, like 1x1. So it's just like all the thoughts that go into an idea to execution, and then as well as like why I think things on TikTok work and YouTube and all this. So it's pretty much just like it's like an 18 chapter thing. It's over like 5 hours of content of me just promoting just everything that I do to get where I am now, and like the equipment I use and all that. And I really thought it would be useful because I wish when I was starting out I had somebody like that. But I do think the best thing to learn is trial and error, where I'm gonna just figure it out on my own. I taught myself how to edit. I taught myself how to do pretty much everything in that space. So I can help people get their self on track, but I can't promise success nobody can promise success. I mean, you probably can, but in something like social media, I'm just giving them their best practices to set themselves up for success, I guess. I can't guarantee 25 million views like we're talking up here.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty much saying if you do all these things right, eventually it might not be the first video you post, but eventually something will hit. So I'm kind of just.
How does someone find out about you? What's the best place to
TrevorWallaceComedy.com. That's got upcoming shows. That's got YouTube videos. That's got merch. The link for the social media, not masterclass, social media course is on there. You can also go to u-broke.com.
TrevorCoin.
TrevCoin, and TrevCoin. This is not financial advice, and TrevCoin. So yeah, but that's pretty much the Trevor Wallace story, I guess.
Awesome. Everybody, listen, I want you to check this man out, Trevor Wallace. He's funny as hell.
Thank you.
Solid guy on the way up quickly. Listen, if you want to find out more about, really how to perfect your social media presence, just check out the stuff. He's got really good. All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in to another great episode of The Wolf's Den. Share this with your friends. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.
Take care.